Good morning, this is Jack from theartchart.net, and this is the pre-market recording for Monday, the 14th of January. Our disclaimer, we do this for educational purposes only. We're here to share our technical analysis with you. We hope you can take some of what we're doing and learn from it, transfer it to your own charts. We're not here to issue trading signals. Right, let's start with ES. Now, ES, you'll notice that we've had a slight break below the rising wedge support. This is significant, I think. It means that wedge resistance is no longer a target. What we haven't done yet is actually convert the weekly pivot to resistance, and I'm expecting that to happen today, but we haven't done it yet. As soon as that does happen, we open up double top support in the 60 area, and then we should be on the move lower. We've got possible support in the 25, 20, 30 area. I'll be coming to that on the RTX charts, but let's go through the index charts first. I've introduced three new index charts here. Interactive Brokers finally started offering RTY, so I put that back. And I've introduced DAX and ESTX as well, which is the European Stocks 50. Okay, NQ, we've got the obvious next target is the trendline support. We're testing possible double top support here on a break below. That would get us well below the monthly pivot, well below the monthly pivot at least. Watching these two areas here, I've got this one here in about the 64.85 area, and monthly pivot obviously is at 64.41. We are no positive divergence there, but we were pretty close, and we do have it on one of the charts. RTY, we're still on a 60-minute sell signal. It hasn't quite reached the possible near miss target. This has been stronger overnight than the others have been. Again, got a nice looking potential lower top there, and the double top support is effectively at the weekly pivot 1424.8. The next obvious target within this channel, because it is a channel, it's a nice channel, is the channel support in the 1405 area. DAX, I've got a nice rising wedge here. The next obvious target within the wedge is this wedge support, currently in about the 106.40 area, and we are trying to break below the double top support. Well, we've tested it at any rate. I've got a weak 60-minute buy signal fixed here, so we may see a rally early in the day, and I'm wondering whether we're going to see that on all of the indices here. Right, ESTX, here I've got another rising wedge. I've got rising wedge support just above, well, say 3005, and we've broken below the weekly pivot, and we're testing the monthly pivot. We broke this trend line support, which was nice from last week. I'm expecting to hit this most likely today. We had a 60-minute sell signal there, and that has reached target. Let's have a quick look at the RTH patterns. Now, obviously, we haven't got anything on here yet, but obviously we're going to see a significant breakdown here. I've got this support currently in the 25.40 area, so it's lower than the ES one, and it's the one I'm looking at more. We've got double top support in the 25.60 area. On RUT, beautiful rising megaphone support currently in the 1395 area, and that's the obvious next target. This tends to be a good signal of where things are going. So this is the support break I'm going to be watching most closely. NDX, I've got a decent looking channel here. Channel support is currently in the 63.75 area. All right, great. Stan was looking at another leg up. That only happens really if we don't convert the weekly pivot to resistance today, so we'll see how that goes. Okay, CL, nice rising channel, which could be a flag. We've got a possible head and shoulders forming here. I've drawn in the neckline there, and if we break below it, this will have a target at 48 in the 48 area, which of course would be a match with this this flag channel support. Stan is expecting that to be the move. He thinks we're in little three up here, probably need a short-term higher high, and then we do the move down. As soon as we touch that trend line, we confirm that this is a likely overall bear flag channel. So watching this closely, and if we get there, we'll probably see another leg up, a higher high, and then lower. Down into a likely retest of this low here at 42, which should be a nice move and should be setting up the next long, which will be a bigger one. All right, NG, nice break up here. wasn't obvious on the charts we were going to get this spike up. NG is a bit of a wild animal, has been obviously for a while now. So anyway, we've got a nice move up. We're pretty close to the monthly pivot at 3.468 and a possible 60-minute sell signal is brewing, so we may find resistance there. GC has touched the likely flag resistance. Is this a flag channel? Is this a triangle? Looks more like a triangle at the moment, but I'm keeping an open mind. We're rejecting from that resistance so far, so what's interesting is where we go from here. If we get as low as channel support, and there is a case for doing that, then I've got that in the 1273 area, and I've got main rising support now at about 1269. SI likely flag forming here, keeping an open mind for where the lower trend line will be. After that, expecting a break up and go higher. I was talking on Chart Chat yesterday about a big resistance trend line I've got in the 1610 area, which is the main resistance trend line and should be the target of this move, either to turn there or to break up through it. HG, this is an interesting setup because we've got a head and shoulders here, and that's actually broken down slightly. Really, only two ways this goes from here. Either this breaks down towards the 256.35 area, and a likely retest of this low, which would improve the weekly RSIs, I would say. Or, alternatively, this rejects and we head up to the previous high and we break this main resistance trend line. One or the other, keeping an open mind on which it's going to be, no current divergence. ZB, we broke up from this falling wedge. The obvious read here is that this is a falling wedge, which is a flag, that we're breaking up towards a retest this high, and that some kind of a bottoming pattern is forming, which at the moment looks like an inverse head and shoulders, which should have an ideal right shoulder low in about the 145.10 area. We had a buy signal that's reached the possible near miss target, so I'm writing that off for the time being. Obviously, fighting around weekly pivot, and if we see a rejection below 145.10, we may well be going to retest this low and possibly lower. But this is a nice flag setup, bull flag setup. Not all flags break up and make target. Not all flags break up. But at the moment, this is looking pretty good to go higher after the bottoming process is complete. DX, I've got this in a possible megaphone from the low here. I do not have a decent support trend line here, although a possible megaphone that has overthrown bullishly. But really, on the bigger picture, I'm expecting this to go down. So we are backtesting this this head and shoulder support, and I'm expecting it to fail here. So let's see whether I'm right. The week 60-minute buy signal has reached the possible near miss target, and we're still on daily sell signals. EURUSD has broken down from the rising channel here, and could be, well, a week 60-minute buy signal is fixed, and a possible full-size buy signal is brewing. I'm not expecting this to be sustained to the downside. If it is, then DX is going up rather than down. USD/JPY, we're still on a 60-minute buy signal that hasn't made the possible near miss target. We've been struggling at weekly pivot, which has been decent resistance so far. USD/CAD, USD/CAD's broken up from a nice looking double bottom. The buy signal reached target. If we can get over weekly pivot, then I've got a pretty decent looking target in the 133.40 area, and if we can't, then obviously we're going to come back, probably retest the low and possibly continue lower. I'm leaning long into a higher rally. Ideally, we'd go back and backtest this possible broken, this broken trendline support in the 134 area. If we do, then that might be making the top of a right shoulder on a larger head and shoulder pattern. Okay, Australian dollar. We're still on a weak 60-minute sell signal. That hasn't turned into a full one and won't because it went too low. We've not seen much downside so far. It's testing the weekly pivot as support, and if that holds, it can go higher. Monthly pivot not too far below it. KC. This looks like a nice falling wedge forming. Hasn't broken up yet. As and when it does, I'd expect this to move back into a retest in the high and probably higher. Possible IHS forming, the right shoulder's looking rather extended. SB, this looks like a pretty nice looking head and shoulders forming. Hasn't broken down yet. We are on a 60-minute sell signal. If we break down, the obvious target is at the monthly pivot 1238, and that's approximately, or slightly lower, where the head and shoulder target would be. CC, this still looks like a triangle forming. Probably would be a bullish triangle. I'd be inclined to see this as a bull pennant, although classically it has taken too long to form. But I think at the end of the day, it's likely likely to be a bullish triangle. So I'm expecting this in due course to break up. ZW. ZW is still kicking around. It's holding the weekly pivot as support. As long as that remains the case, this can go higher. If we see a break below the monthly pivot, as I said, I'd be a slightly nervous long here on ZW. We could go considerably lower. The lean is higher, however, and as long as we can hold these support pivots, then higher is fine. Corn. Corn, we've got no current divergence. Looks like a little triangle forming that would probably develop into a retest of this low. We're under the monthly pivot. No, we're slightly over the monthly pivot and under the weekly pivot. If we convert monthly pivot into solid resistance, then obviously we can go lower. Soy, we've got an interesting setup here because I've got a possible 60-minute buy signal brewing. We're slightly under the monthly pivot, but obviously if we get a buy signal and head back over the monthly pivot, then we could be bottoming here for then a retest this high. Whichever direction soy goes, corn's probably going to head approximately in the same direction. All right, great. In that case, I'm going to stop the recording.